Hey Internet, it's RJ. Welcome back. Thanks for tuning into the show today. Now today is Sunday, so you know what that means. We're going around the net with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. So on the docket for today, we have American Express making a new friend in the travel partner game. We will touch in on the Capital One Lounge Network expansion. Plus we will also swing by Boston to check out the Chase Sapphire Lounge thanks to a view from the wing and their write-up on it. And we will close with another Apple story, this time about their high-yield savings account banking about $10 billion since their launch, as opposed to the credit card that we normally talk about, but we'll have a tie-in and see how it all plays together. So of course, if that sounds interesting to you, then go ahead, press the subscribe button, and let's get to work. Now, we will lead off with American Express. So, you all know by now, American Express, you earn membership reward points. You can transfer them out to hotel and airline partners. Well, American Express is now adding a new airline partner to the mix, and that new partner is going to be Qatar Airways. Now, specifically here, this is live right now if you wanted to use it, but you can transfer membership reward points from, of course, from American Express to Qatar Airways Privilege Club. That's the name of their loyalty program at a 1-to-1 rate, which is the minimum. That's what you want to see. Now, transfers, of course, will be instant as soon as you pull the trigger. Your points will show up over at Qatar, and then of course, they are only one-way transfers. You can't move them back, which I'm sure you know already. Now, overall, I don't know nearly enough about this airline to talk about it. Like, hey, this is a good thing. I'll just say that more optionality is always a good thing. It doesn't cost anything. So if you like this airline, by all means, let us know what the value that you're getting from these points down below. I think that would help a lot of people out in decision making. But again, anytime you have another option, it doesn't cost you anything. I will say that is a win. So good job, Amex, adding another partner. And anytime you add another partner, you never know. They may come out with some co-branded card down the line. Who knows? But with that, we're going to keep going here with the travel game. This time we're checking in with Capital One. This audience, we do have a fascination with the Capital One Lounge Network, probably because the Venture X is so popular and still a good card. But as many of you have pointed out, we've kind of let Capital One coast for a while. They've had the DFW Lounge, which we went to and took a look at, but ever since then, they boast about their lounge network. But really, they're leaning on Priority Pass and Plaza Premium, and then their one dedicated lounge. So when are the rest of the lounges coming? Well, about a few weeks ago, we talked about them putting the finishing touches on the Washington Dulles lounge. Of course, up now you have some pictures that a viewer was so kind enough to take for us and send in as they were passing through the airport. So we do appreciate that, you being the weird person taking pictures of a construction site for us. But again, it helps us out a lot, and it's nice to see your first-hand view, what you're seeing out there, and it helps to know what you guys are interested about. Because if you're interested enough to take pictures of it, then probably an interesting story. So thank you for that. Now, building on this story, again, we know that Dulles is nearing completion and should open sometime in September, I've heard. Now, View from the Wing also doing double duty here. View from the Wing's also been told that in addition to Dulles opening sometime in September, the one in Denver should also be ready to open sometime in September, which is next month. So we're getting pretty close, and that would take them up to 3 total dedicated lounges, and in pretty good areas. Again, I've flown through DFW quite a bit personally. Dulles, I can't remember if I did Dulles or Reagan, but still pretty busy airport. And then Denver's nice because Denver's like right in the middle of the country, so you can go get to both coasts in like relatively the same amount of time, give or take. So it's a decent spot as well. So good to see them finally expanding. In addition, we know they have some other stuff in the queue, like those I think they call them Capital One landings or something. It was basically their kind of take on like not a full lounge, but like a restaurant bar type deal in the airport, which would be nice to have just more places so you get more value out of your card. So if you travel through any of those airports, offer still stands. If you're so willing, so inclined to take pictures, we will definitely use them on the show. It's nice to get the first-hand point of view. Now, moving on to a competitor to Lounge Network, we have the Chase Sapphire Lounge. So again, borrowing from our friends at View from the Wing, they did a full write-up on their trip to the Sapphire Lounge. And I will link down below. Definitely go check out their article and read the full thing. I mean, we're just going to steal their pictures from it, but I do want to give them credit, for taking the time to write this up for us. So as you remember, Chase Sapphire Lounge, they are going to be out in Boston. That's the only one they have stateside. So when View from the Wing went out there, take a look. Those are the pictures you have on screen. Now, again, as a refresher, you're talking about 12,000 square feet, give or take, open from 5 to 11 p.m., 5 a.m., I should say. And of course, you can get in with your Sapphire Reserve card, but it is on the Priority Pass network, and that plays into the crowding question. So, again, I mean, looking at these pictures, you know, you can kind of see, I mean, there's a fair amount of people there, but there's always going to be, but it's not. You know, it's not, it doesn't look overcrowded. I'm sure as you go through the article, they tell you more specifics about the time of day and everything that they were there. But I mean, the stuff you really care about, again, I'm not going to put all the pictures in here, but he was talking about the menu, right? They have like an actual buffet, or you can do actual made to order food. So you get some of the pictures of that saying, hey, if you ordered at the table, you do it from the classic QR code. About 10 minutes for drinks. 15 minutes after that, food was served. So not super, not. I wouldn't say. I would say that's fine. You know, but again, most of the stuff is, you know, complimentary, but of course there is some top shelf stuff that does cost money, so not everything is free. But overall, I mean, his opinion was pretty good. You know, you can look at some of these items. I don't think they look bad by any means. He said, hey, they look like smaller portions, which is probably true, but then maybe I'm just being fat, so I don't know. But you can just order most of them multiples because they're not going to, you know, cut you off. Showers really weren't available while he was there as far as amenities, but again, overall, you know, I'll leave the pictures up, but it looked like a nice enough trip, I would say. So I mean, the real question comes into is like, where do you compare these two? And, you know, they're actually they have plans to open one in Denver and in Dallas and in, I think, DFW as well. So they're going to be a direct competitor to Capital One's lounges. And I do think this will start to play a decision. Again, I'm not the highest on lounges as a whole, but I mean, it comes down to the credit cards, because now you have a lot of options and they're going for the same busier airport. So I do think this is going to be important decision on how these lounges compare. So I mean, I think it's Chase, all of them should be better than your standard Priority Pass lounges, but again, they should be at least on par. Chase should be on par with Capital One. I would still expect Platinum or Centurion clubs have to be better just because of the price premium you pay for the credit card and for having the Amex system. But, you know, I wouldn't expect them to punch up to that level, especially some of the redesigned ones. But this is going to be a big decision for a lot of people getting the card. So, again, if you make it out there, we'd love to get your pictures on it. If you've been to both, by all means, let us know who you think wins. And, of course, time is the great factor, right? Because everything looks new when it's brand new and the brand really cares. So we'll have to see how all of these age, you know, as you think about which card you want, because most people don't want a Sapphire Reserve, Venture X, a Platinum card. It gets really expensive and diminishing returns. So I am interested. The lounge wars may actually be starting to get good. But if you're sick of travel, then we have another story for you. But I hope you're an Apple sheeple, because this is like the third time we've talked about Apple in as many weeks, which, you know, it's fine with me, but I also write the outline, so of course it was fine with me. But anyways, we're talking about Apple's high yield savings account. Now, the savings account launched in April. Of course, you had to have an Apple card to get access to it. You apply through your phone. Of course, the Apple card's been in the news because Goldman Sachs wants out, but this is just about the savings account. So, how's the savings account doing? Well, it's actually doing pretty well. We have a press release from Apple, and everyone always loves to tell you when things are going well for them, right? So the Apple savings account, again, it launched with a 4.15% APY, which is pretty good. And then they've banked about $10 billion in deposits from users since launching in April. So that's a ton of money. Now, they also say, you know, users, actually about 97% of folks actually choose to add their Apple Daily Cash, so basically the points they earn on the Apple card, have it go directly to your savings account, which makes a ton of sense. And when you can count that towards the deposit and how popular the Apple card is, definitely makes sense. Now, you might be wondering, how does Goldman Sachs feel about this? It says, well, we are very pleased with the success of the savings account as we continue to deliver seamless, valuable products to Apple Card customers with a shared focus on creating best-in-class, yada, yada, yada. I mean, of course, they're saying they're happy with it. So overall, I mean, again, I don't think we should take away from that $10 billion. It's quite a bit of money to bank since April, even if you are adding in your cash back from all your users, giving them the option to. So the few questions here, though, I mean, the real question is, like, how are they going to keep up the competitiveness of the account, or will they? We just saw a Fed rate hike the other day. My Discord and many of the other Discords for the channel memberships here, few folks were talking about the emails they were getting. I know Ally bumped their rates, Betterment, Wealthfront, a few of those are bumping their rates up as they're supposed to, right? They're not doing us any favors. That's how interest rates work, but not every bank does that. So generally with high yield savings accounts, they're usually meant to keep going, but will they, right? Will they move it from 4.15 to 4.3 to match, I think, what Ally is at right now? And I would doubt it, because there's not really a need to, honestly, because this is such a mass consumer product. It's not hard to bring people in, because people don't feel like they're opening a bank account. You feel like you're doing something on your phone, which technically you are, but if you think back to last week's story when Goldman was annoyed that Apple was so focused on user experience and the tech piece of it, well, that's why. It's a much easier sell to people. So you don't really even have to raise it up, honestly. They should, and you should be aware what the other rates are, but most people aren't going to switch. Other factor is, how does this play into the Goldman Sachs Apple Card deal? If I'm Goldman, I'm losing my shirt on the Apple Card. Well, it's nice to have $10 billion banked from this product. Someone like Goldman probably do a lot with that. Sure, they're paying out interest, on it, but again, if you're not raising it up anymore, then I think it's fine. They're skilled enough to make much more money back on the savings account. So I don't know how the savings account plays into the card program as well. I got to imagine if you were to offload it, you'd be offloading the entire thing, and someone would also want that $10 billion as well. It's just probably only going to go up. But either way, no small feat. I said it before and say it again. If they were offering a promotion for the account, I would have signed up. I don't have the Apple Card. They're not going to offer a promotion. I've said it before. Say it again, and this is proof they don't need to. It's $10 billion just for giving people the option of signing up. So again, if you want the account, I think it's fine. I would just say keep your eye on the competitive rates out there as we continue to hike rates, unfortunately. But it doesn't have to always be unfortunate. Sometimes it can work in your favor in ways like this. So anyways, guys, that has been the news for this Sunday. So of course, if you liked it, drop me a thumbs up down below. If you found it particularly interesting, consider subscribing to the channel, because we're posting content just like this every week. And of course, right back here every Sunday with all the news you can use in the week that was in credit and finance. And of course, every single day over on profitablecontent.com. That is the channel's blog where we post the latest news stories. We have bank promotions and we have credit card offers, and all of our offers come with welcome bonuses, because that is a pillar of profitable content. You should always be paid to open up something. Last shot at Apple on the way out. Anyways, guys, let me know what you think about these stories, as well as what else have you seen going on in the news as of late. Love to get your thoughts on it. Of course, as always, thank you so much for watching, and I will talk to you very soon this week.